everyone, it's Gail here from 5-9, and I'm here to talk about a story that no one saw coming. The story that people fell in love with. And that story is Anohana, the flower we saw that day. This is the first in a potential series we will be covering on the 5-9 channel, where we will be shedding light on old and new anime gems. So please do leave a comment down below in the comment section, of course, and leave a like if you'd like to see more.
なんだよ、メンマ。
お願いがあるの。
Anohana is our first title that we will be talking about. A coming-of-age title that, like mentioned, was out of a lot of people's radars when announced. And yet this title is now considered to be one of the best shows of the 2010s. A big hit by the Fuji Media Holdings, who control Anohana as one of their properties. However, to an individual like myself, it was the story that got me. Years after a tragedy that took the life of one Maiko Menmo Honma, her spirit comes forth to Jinta, who was once the charismatic leader of the Super Beastbusters, a group of friends including Menma. However, the tragedy tore them apart, and now he is a shonen. Menma and Jinta figure out that she cannot move on to heaven until they fulfill Menma's final wish, which includes him bringing together their estranged group who are all dealing with their own griefs and angst. This is the synopsis of Anohana, and one can tell by that brief summary that it is an emotionally charged story at that. The writer of the story, Marie Okada, doesn't live off the tragic twists one expects in an emotional story though. Instead, she writes the characters so beautifully to the point where we, as a viewer, understand the complex characters being built on the screen to the point where our feelings and their feelings are one and the same. While years have gone by, you can immediately tell from each character that they have not gotten over the death of Menma. That guilt still possesses each and every single one of them. All their characters start off as pricks in the beginning, each having their own flaws, some being recluses, weak-willed, bitchy, snarky, and more. But as you progress, you can understand and see why certain individuals are still haunted by what happened in the years past ever since the incident. And that's the beauty of this specific story's character development and how well it was handled. But the most beautifully painful thing in this tragic story is the tragic relationship itself between Menma and Jinta. A bunch of fluffiness and relaxed and comfortable dialogue between the two is marred by the fact that, well, that's not reality. The reality is that Menma and Jinta will not be together forever, and that's what Anohana is as well. Moments that are beautiful yet painful at the same time due to what reality actually is. The story handles the emotion of losing someone very close prematurely very well. And while adults may go on a journey, facing this sort of a grief for children is vastly different comparatively. Adults can drink themselves till they forget, or bury themselves with work. In Anohana, we're reminded that children just don't have the same coping mechanisms. The most crucial point is all about the 5 teenagers involved in the show, with a heavy focus on Jinta, of course, and that is to learn how to move on, to learn how to talk about the tragedy that happened in their childhood. The music and OST from Anohana is also well selected, as we range from tracks such as Secret Base, the ED, which was covered by the female cast, and of course the OP itself in Aoi Shiori. The OP gives you a good idea of the situations each character has gone through, showing their past selves running amongst them, showing what was compared to what is now. The backing track that plays along to the tune blends perfectly. At the same time, the ED of Anohana is a personal favorite of mine, by the way. May not have the same beautiful animations or anything, but it's what's in the lyrics. It literally is what's in the lyrics. For those who don't know Japanese, of course, the lyrics talk about reminiscing past memories with an old friend or lover, and this becomes more and more understandable as the episodes go on. Even without the meaning, just the basic visual of Onaru, Maiko, and Chiriko, just looking at their past selves playing and reminiscing is truly something else to look at as the episode ends. The general tracks of Anohana that are played throughout the episodes, and that is the soundtracks and OSTs, such as I Left You and Dear Love, are simply joy to hear. Like previously mentioned, the songs are as powerful as they are just because of how well they fit with the moments. For the animation, for those of you who may have watched Toradora, of course, may be glad to know that this show reunited the lead production staff from them and was produced by the same well-known studio, A1 Pictures. While it's not a spectacle with flashy colors or anything out of this world like Mob Psycho or Demon Slayer, it carries itself extremely well with its consistency and its well-drawn characters. One thing people might note is that the backgrounds are extremely well designed and storyboarded exceptionally. And well, fun fact, this is something that I myself did not know, was that the anime was meant to attract tourists to Chichibu City. And well, I mean, based on what I've seen in the show, I must admit they've accomplished that with flying colors. There are certainly some flaws with the show, just like most shows, and some of it can be noticed, of course, in the voiceovers for the flashback scenes when the main cast are kids. And although the talented VA cast does the best job they can, studios like Ghibli have shown that children are the best VAs for, well, children. There are also some niggling issues with the transition of the kids to their teenage/adolescent forms, but it works as the main idea showing that they aren't kids they once were by their appearance, body language, and how they behave. There may also be awkward moments between certain performances, and it can be a bit daunting and a bit odd at times, but it can be interpreted in each viewer's own way, and for the most part, personally of course, is that it fits well considering the situation. Like I mentioned, this show pulls at the heartstrings, but why? What is the reason for that? Is it the character development, which is phenomenal? Is it the music and OST, which pulls at my heartstrings every time? Or is it the animation itself, which, while not a spectacle like Demon Slayer or Mob Psycho, like I mentioned earlier on, deserves its own respect for consistency and fluidity? I'd say it's none of them. It's the genuine honesty and reality that hits everybody as they grow up, that nothing is forever, but everything you do and the people you meet matter. The emotional honesty and the feelings that evoke from this script make it a level higher than any show I've seen in the last few years, if not the last few decades, and I would say there's only a very few couple of shows that do so. Somebody once mentioned, Anohana is a moving journey about the ties that bind even beyond the grave that will leave you misty-eyed. This story is effectively the base of this well-made cake, and everything else is effectively the icing and toppings. Anohana is a must-watch show no matter the type of viewer you are. It may not pull at everybody's heartstrings, but if one has to watch a well-crafted show, it's this one. Thank you all so much for watching this. We will be back next week with another show, and hopefully you all let me know down in the comment section below if you watched Anohana and how you feel. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, everybody.